What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Golden Butterfly Film Studios channel. I just finished watching Shiny Happy People on Amazon Prime, and when I tell you it was extremely insightful, that's the adjective that I'm going to use here. It was illuminating to what was going on behind the scenes of the TLC show 19 Kids and Counting. So for more than a decade, audiences around the world watch the Duggar family, which the parents are Jim, Bob, and Michelle, along with their 19 children on TLC and their show 19 Kids and Counting, which was a feel-good reality series where entire episodes were dedicated to things like, how they did the laundry for all those people. The Duggars, who portrayed an image of wholesome Christian values, had their pristine image tarnished in 2015 when reports surfaced that their eldest son, Josh Duggar, was accused of being inappropriate with multiple girls when he was a teenager, including his own sisters. Months later, Josh admitted to being unfaithful to his wife after reports found his account on the infidelity website Ashley Madison. In 2021, an Arkansas jury found Josh guilty of receiving and possessing inappropriate images of minors. Okay. I definitely want to, abide by YouTube's guidelines, community guidelines. So I'm trying to choose my words carefully. But you guys can look this up. Absolutely. It's all over Google. So this new Amazon Prime docu-series called Shiny Happy People, which is the title of the REM song, The Duggar Family Secrets, takes a closer look at the family, their rise to fame, and their connections to the ultra-conservative Christian organization titled the Institute of Basic Life Principles, or the IBLP, which was recently a major player in the Christian homeschooler movement. So the thesis of these 4 episodes, which feature interviews from their oldest daughter, Jill Dillard, and her husband, the Duggar family and friends, and former IBLP believers, hinges on this relationship, arguing that Josh's crimes were a reflection and a product of a wider culture of abuse, both within their family and the religious group they belong to. So family and friends say that the Duggars wanted Josh to confess to being inappropriate with young girls after he was married, y'all. Like, that blew my mind. So in the first episode, it's titled Meet the Duggars. The docuseries introduces close family friends, Jim and Bobby Holt, who were also IBLP members. And as a teenager, Josh began dating their daughter, Kaylee. And it was referred to as the courtship within the community. And the process requires young men to first ask their love interest's father if they may date for the purpose of marriage. So the Holts said they found out about Josh's alleged abuse after they started dating in 2003 when Josh was 15, 5 years before 19 Kids and Counting, the show debuted on TLC. So according to Bobby, Kaylee's mother, Josh's father, Jim Bob, told them, well, Josh has got into some trouble. He's touched his sisters inappropriately. So this is Josh's father telling the Holts this. Josh has apparently been doing this since he was 12. Oh my goodness, not 12. Jim Holt asked the Duggars when they planned on telling him and Bobby about Josh. And according to the Holts, Michelle said that they hadn't planned on saying anything. The Holts recalled her saying, "We were just going to have Josh confess to Kaylee once they were married." So they asked him, they said, "Are you using my daughter as like a carrot to get him to behave the right way?" And Jim Holt remembers Jim Bob saying, "Well, yeah, kind of." Oh my gosh, you guys, that is crazy. And Jim Bob and Michelle refused to use the word with the M in reference to inappropriately touching their daughters because they're trying to protect their son. Another thing that came out was that family members said that the Duggars referred to physical abuse as encouragement. So when they would spank their children, they said they would ask them, like, do you need some encouragement? Oh my goodness. The documentary features commentary and testimonies from multiple former ILBP members who described the organization as a cult. And they, it checks all the boxes of a cult from what I saw. And it tries to advance Christian fundamental teachings. Several have said that the Duggars TLC show was really triggering because it reminded them of their own strip upbringings, including depictions of the docile, obedient Duggar children in their pilgrim collars. They were saying, when I watched the Duggars, the attitudes of the children are what I've noticed right off the bat. My heart broke for them because they were so calm and they were so peaceful and they were so well behaved. And I knew what it took to get there, said Laura Smith. So basically they were saying that they broke these baby spirits is what happened. And part of instilling that fear was by hitting them, going to extreme members. My goodness, you guys. They described a method called blanket training, which Michelle talks about in her book. Michelle Duggar talks about in her book that she wrote. It involves placing a child as young as 6 months old on a blanket with their favorite object just out of reach. When the child reaches for it, the parent hits them. And if they continue to reach for it, the parent continues to hit them. The idea is you're breaking the rebellious spirit, says Eve, a writer and podcaster who grew up in the IBLP. That makes me so sad. In her book, Michelle doesn't specify hitting her children, but rather she, quote unquote, corrected them. Jill, and we're going to go back to Jill. She's the fourth child of Jim Bob and Michelle, Jill Dillard. And she recalled the urgency with which her father and the TLC producers tried to figure out what to do after Josh's behavior became public. And she said basically that, she felt pressure to protect his reputation. She went on Megyn Kelly and she says, our case is very mild compared to what happened to some. I'm sad because this is my older brother who I love a lot. And I had to make that choice to forgive him. It wasn't something that I was forced to do, or that somebody forced me to do. In hindsight, she says, I wouldn't have done the Megyn Kelly stuff. I don't even like to talk about the interview because it's not something I'm proud of. And if I hadn't felt obligated to do it, then, because of the sake of my parents, she says I wouldn't have done it. So she says her parents basically forced her to do the show on Megyn Kelly. And speaking of being forced, she also said that she didn't want to have TLC film her delivery, but the footage was aired anyway. She also said that she was manipulated into an extended TV contract. And her father, on the eve of her wedding to her husband, her father laid out the contract on the kitchen table and it was already open to the signature page. And she said that they basically forced her to sign it. It says also that the show might have elevated Jim Bob's standing within the ultra-conservative IBLP. So much of the series is dedicated to explaining the culture of IBLP, including its founder, Bill Gothard, who has gotten in his own trouble with the law in regards to abuse charges. So this was, like I said, really insightful. I feel bad for Josh's wife, Anna, who, didn't receive a traditional public education and, is dealing with her husband who has a lot of issues. And she has multiple children, with her husband, even after all of this came out. So my heart breaks for her and those babies. With that being said, this was, like I said, extremely insightful. I'm always fascinated by cult documentaries. But you guys let me know if you've seen it and let me know your thoughts on Shiny Happy People. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will talk to you later. Take care. Bye.